Okay, so by popular request, I am going to show you how I make my homemade sauerkraut, also known as fermented cabbage. Sauerkraut, as you can see from the spelling, is not English. It's a German phrase that stands for sour cabbage. It actually originated from China about 2,000 years ago. And interestingly, it's got so many health benefits. And so I will entreat my African brothers and sisters to try it and include it in your diet. It has so many health benefits, such as providing the probiotics that your gut needs, helping to boost your immune system, and helping you to lose weight. Minuanum, aduane we enye Ghana aduane nanso mumien try ne yemfa nka yen enuane ho ebeboa yen ne edi kan ebema oyem ada ho ne etoso mienu nso so no ebeboa ama immune system ne e kan se moawo a ewo nipadua mu akonyarewa no ebemo mu asipie sita. Greetings to you and welcome to the Flourishing Kitchen. Here at the Flourishing Kitchen, you know what we are committed to. Yes, we are aiming to reduce drastically the amount of carbohydrates that we take into our system. So we are exploring ketogenic diet versions of all the African foods that we've been used to. First and foremost, I would like you to subscribe. Please press the subscribe button if you haven't done so yet, so that anytime I upload a flourishing video, you will have the benefit of watching it and helping you to make the responsible choice that you desire. Sauerkraut is used for many dishes from the ketogenic regime. One of the reasons why I love sauerkraut is that it helps me to make ketogenic banku and kenke without really and truly missing out on the fermented taste that Kondo normally would have brought me. Only 2 ingredients are needed for this simple recipe: salt and of course your cabbage. Plus you need a big bowl to mix the cabbage shreds inside, and then a bottle with a tight lid for your storing and fermentation process. So first and foremost, I'm cutting out the core from the cabbage and I'm beginning to shred it into tiny pieces. You can do this by hand or you can do it with your food processor. Either way, it works really well. Actually, I did half of it by hand until I remembered that actually my food processor could do the slavery job. So I ended up finishing it off in my food processor. You don't have to use it. And if you don't have it, it shouldn't stop you from doing your own homemade sauerkraut. So yes, after shredding it, then you're going to weigh the cabbage. I don't recommend that you weigh it before you shred it. The reason being that you'd cut off the core, the inside, the core of the cabbage, which is quite heavy. And so if you do weigh it before you start shredding it, then obviously it will distort the maths. But you need to get the weight accurate in order to get the right proportion of salt for the fermentation. Now, what I do is, and I learned this from another YouTuber, that they use 0.2% of the quantity of cabbage to salt, basically. So we're going to do some ratio here. Remember your maths? Okay, so for instance, if you you divide your cabbage into, hundreds, right? Every 100 grams of cabbage will require 0.2% of salt. Does that make sense? Yes. So with this cabbage, I got about a little over 1,000 grams, which is like 1 kilo and a bit. In that case, then I would need 20 grams. So 1 kilo of cabbage will require 20 grams of salt. You do your maths, whichever way you want to do your weighing is up to you. I had to weigh my bowl first and then weigh the cabbage and then deduct the bowl's weight from the cabbage. That's quite a long way around. But if you find a smarter way to do it, of course, by all means, go for it. But don't forget to weigh your cabbage. That's the bottom line. Because weighing your cabbage will then give you the right amount you need, amount of salt that you need. If you don't get the right measurement or amount for the salt, it's either going to taste too salty or less saltier. In that case, the fermentation process might not be as accurate. The taste will not come out. So many things might go wrong. So just stick to this. It works. The 2% rule kind of works perfectly for me. I've done it a few times and it comes out really nicely. Now for the salt, I am using pink Himalayan salt. Let me say that again. Pink Himalayan salt. For those of you who are not familiar with the pink Himalayan salt, search it up on Google and read a little bit about it. It's a lot healthier than rock sea salt, and we all need salt in our system, but obviously the right kind. Okay, so I've just poured my salt crystals in there, and I'm using my hand to work it through the cabbage shreds. This is the stage where the cabbage will now begin to release its own juices to mingle, if that's a better word, to mix up with the salt that you have put in. We don't sabe posa kopim say cabbage ni munsuo be start a form na ahono afa enchire no. I hope my tree is all right. And you do it until you know that it's all dissolved in there, and you can see some water particles coming out, juicy particles. Now, it's up to you. If your cabbage feels still dry, you can put a little bit of mineral water, emphasis on the water, mineral water, into the mixture to help the juice to actually come out. And that's exactly what I did. And don't put tap water or any other water but mineral water. The reason being that you don't want any cross contamination, because this is going to sit outside of the fridge for 2 weeks and sometimes even more. You don't want any messing about with it. If possible, don't even add any water, but obviously every cabbage is different. No two cabbages are the same. Now I'm putting it inside my bottle, and this is my strategy. I'm pounding it into the bottle to ensure that it's all compact when it's arranged in the bottle. And when I finished, I still had some space on the top, right? So I had to put a weight on the top before I cover it. It's very important to keep it tight. It's meant to be tight. So what I did was I placed one of my cheese blocks. I had this halloumi cheese in the fridge, and that's what I placed on the top. And between the cabbage and the top, I had to put a cling film over it, just so that there is no direct contact with the cheese block and the cabbage shreds, if that makes sense. Okay, so the cheese block goes on top of the cling film, and then it is now time to tighten it with the lid itself and put it away. So as you can see, it's all the cabbage is submerged in its own brine. Beautiful, beautiful. That's exactly what you want to achieve. It is soaking in its own salt water. And also let me point out that you can actually purchase fermentation weights online or in the shops, but I did not have one at hand. That's why I used the cheese block, but this one is actually sealed in its own packet, so it doesn't have any direct contact with the cabbage. Okay, so the question is, how many days until we start tasting the tanginess of our sauerkraut? The standard is 2 weeks, and in some cases beyond, depending on the temperature of your environment. Okay, so my kraut has been sitting in a very dark place somewhere in my kitchen for the past 11 days. It's the 11th day today, and look at that. Beautiful. Can you see how much water has actually sat on the top? It's literally soaking in its own juice. And at this stage, if you're really in a hurry, you can start using it, especially for your banku and other swallows. But even better if you make it sit for more than 2 weeks. That's when you can actually taste the fermenting taste. Right, so this is just for demonstration purposes, but obviously after this stage I placed it back in its space where it was kept. See the cheese now? When I lifted it up, I could see the water sitting right on top of the shreds, and that's exactly how it should be. Okay, from this stage you can start cooking with it. I've made some bankus with it. I've added some to my salads to give it that sour, tangy kind of taste. I've used it for several dishes and it is really nice. Okay, so try yours and let me know how yours came out. I'm really interested in having feedback from you, fam, and let's all journey together on this path of ketogenic, low carb lifestyle. I will see you in my next video with more discoveries. Shalom, peace, and life to you. Take care. Bye. Well, I hope you learned something new whilst watching this. If you did, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below, like, comment, and share. Maybe someone too might find it fruitful. Minianum Ghana, for this channel is dedicated to you. So won't subscribe Mr. Mia subscribe button is wasi honi aye kokono. Mia edoni so senia mi di bibia to hwa. Won sabeka ubenya ntie na wasua ade efrim. Share no obi nso nsanka bi na me warehyem se be boa fofrofo bebre. As I always say, let thy food be thy medicine. Until I come your way with another exploratory video, it's shalom from me. Enjoy a flourishing day wherever you are. Bye.